Applause, our supportive applause. Here comes Jessica. Good.
You are looking at the 2005 Central High School valedictorian. Now, I'm not telling you that to brag, but it was kind of a big deal in my small Midwestern town. I'm actually telling you this because when our senior yearbook came out, I didn't receive any of the accolades that you'd expect someone who was at the top of their class would get, like most likely to succeed or teacher's pet. The one that I did get was most likely to never be seen again. Ouch. But I now realize that my peers saw something in me that I hadn't yet seen, which was the deep desire to get out of Dodge, or Peoria, Illinois, as it were, like way out. Most of my friends went to schools close to home, but I decided to go to a land far away, a little place known as upstate New York. And it only took me 3 flights and an hour-long taxi to get from my hometown to my campus. And when I got there, I was transported to a very different world. My mom had encouraged me to apply to schools that were small private schools with large endowments, and this was a brilliant strategy because I was given a full academic scholarship. But what I wasn't prepared for was the culture shock that I experienced when I arrived. It was only recently that I read a New York Times article that out of every single college and university in the country, mine is ranked 3rd highest for household income. Even though I didn't know that at the time, I certainly felt it. And I got a lot of education, some more cultural than academic. I learned about things like Lacoste, which is a brand, which you should not confuse with lacrosse, which is a sport. You can wear Lacoste while playing lacrosse if you want. Someone at a party asked me where I summered, and it was the first time I'd ever heard the word summer used as a verb, to which I replied, Peoria, which is also where I winter. Not realizing that many of my peers spent their summers and winters at vacation homes. And I also learned that a boy that I had a crush on, his family owned Aspen Mountain. Did you know that you could own a mountain? Because that was news to me. Even though I knew that I deserved to be there, I didn't always feel like I belonged. And even though I had a full scholarship, I still had to take out student loans to pay for things like textbooks and my laptop. And at the beginning of every semester, I found myself textbook rich but cash poor, which led me to being one of the only people in my entire social circle that continuously worked throughout college. So I would do things like washing dishes in my sorority house kitchen, selling handles of vodka at our town liquor store, renting out kayaks at our boathouse, and once for extra cash, I even agreed to clean the off-campus frat house where some of my friends lived. And I can tell you with certainty that what I experienced in their bathroom will haunt me forever. Because it took an hour-long taxi, 3 flights, and a small miracle to get home, I didn't often get the chance to do that, especially for short breaks. Luckily, one year for Thanksgiving, my friend Elise invited me home with her to Connecticut. And on this trip, her mom took us shopping at the mall. And I have this vivid memory of watching Elise try on clothes as I waited in the fitting room. And her mom came up to me and was like, "Why aren't you trying on clothes?" And I sheepishly had to tell her that I couldn't afford any of them and I didn't want to put them on my body if I couldn't buy them afterwards. And she almost threateningly was like, "I want you to try on some jeans." So I did, and she surprised me by buying me a pair alongside some outfits for her daughter. And I felt such a mix of emotions at this gesture. I felt on one hand embarrassed that I couldn't afford them on my own. I felt gratitude because it was so generous and so kind. But more than anything, I felt excited because these weren't just any old pair of jeans. These were designer jeans. And this was the era of 7 jeans, True Religion, and the bedazzled back pocket was kind of your calling card. Now, these things were the nicest piece of clothing that I owned. They made me look like everyone else at school, but more importantly, they made me feel like I fit in. And let me tell you, I wore these suckers into the ground. I actually dusted them off and put them on for tonight. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Can you guys imagine fitting into your college jeans? I can't. It's been a while since I was in college, and I'm happy to say that even though it took me a decade, I finally paid off my student loans. Yes. And I've reached a level of financial freedom where I'm not always worried about money or always having to take on odd jobs. And if I go to the mall these days and I see a pair of jeans I like, I'm pleased to report that I'm actually able to buy them for myself. And yes, last year I went back to college for my 15-year reunion. And as I walked around, I thought about how far I'd come. And for the first time, I really felt like I had made it. For some reason, the next thing that popped into my head was these jeans. And so I asked my friend Elise, I was like, hope this isn't weird, but can I get your mom's number? And I texted her mom, and I said, you probably don't remember this, but one year for Thanksgiving, you invited me home with your daughter, and you took us on a shopping trip, and you bought me a nice pair of jeans. And I didn't have a lot of money or many nice things at the time, and I just want to let you know, even after all of these years, just how impactful that was to me. So I think you can go your own way, but you won't make it all the way on your own. So don't forget to thank some of the people who helped you along on your journey. Thank you.
Jessica. There she goes, Jessica. Jessica, I just met somebody from Peoria last week.